Alright, well, I went to see Scream 7 again at the theater for the second time now. So I thought I may as well do a spoiler talk video. So this video will contain spoilers for Scream 7. No limits. Nothing is off limits. So if you haven't seen the movie or don't want to know about it, don't watch this. But that being said, let's get into it. So after seeing it a second time and also having deep discussions with several people who have also seen the movie, I think I like it maybe even less than I did right after my first viewing. And that, after my first viewing, I was, what's the word? I hadn't seen anyone else's reviews. I hadn't talked to anyone else about what they thought of it. I saw it the Thursday night that it came out. But yeah, after sitting with it, oh man, I still don't understand the motive. Like, okay, so Jessica, the neighbor, and this will be all over the place. I don't give a fuck. Jessica, the neighbor, is one of the ghost faces, along with the guy who we see for literally maybe a minute of screen time, if that, who works at the mental hospital, who is friends with a patient at the mental hospital, who is the one who was killed earlier by Gale hitting him with a car, which I'll admit, the probably greatest moment of this entire movie is Gale killing the guy by hitting him with the car, killing Ghostface early on in the movie, and then she steps out. Like, what an opening for Gale. What an entrance. But it's exactly what Heart Eyes did, there's a killer reveal like halfway through that movie, and it's some unknown guy that nobody knows. So, not that they can't do the same thing in this movie, but, they both have Cuba Gooding Jr.'s junior kid, Mason Gooding, in it. And they, that didn't come out not long ago. It's just kind of a weird sort of, like, all right, another movie that one of your stars is in just did that. Why are you doing it? I don't know. But it did kind of work for Gale's entrance, though. But we do not spend enough time with that orderly guy, played by who the fuck knows who. Like, apparently the guy, as an actor outside of this movie, played, what's his name, Randy, or whatever the son's name is, from the Vacation movies. But that's all I'd seen him in. Like, who the fuck knows who this guy is? If it was like some sort of big celebrity, like, I don't know, fucking Steven Spielberg or some bullshit, Quentin Tarantino under the mask. Well, I guess he'd never touch this because of Matthew Lillard, but if it was some like big celebrity like Brad Pitt or some bullshit, might be more entertaining, but still wouldn't make any more sense. Like, why the fuck was he involved anyway? Why did he give a shit? I don't think they really even gave us a motive for him. Just that he wanted some pussy from the Jessica chick. Is that his motive? And then Jessica is kind of like the main ghost face killer. And her whole motive, I'm still hazy on it, and I've seen it twice now, and I was really like ready to take notes, paying full attention. But Jessica's motive is that she read, I assume before Sydney moved into the neighborhood, before they'd even met in person, she had read Sydney's book, and that motivated her for some weird reason, because I don't think Nev's book or Sydney's book was about how to kill your abusive husband, but somehow the book motivated Jessica to kill her abusive husband and made her idolize Sidney Prescott because of that. And then when Sydney apparently ran away instead of going to New York, I didn't know she ran away anywhere. I thought that, like, why would she go to New York if there's a Ghostface killer there killing people? Didn't make sense to me why anyone ever would think that the victim of a serial killer would try to go where the serial killer is anyway. Makes sense for her to kind of go into hiding or whatever. So, but how did that piss Jessica off? Was she neighbors with Sydney at that time? And she was mad that Sydney, like, left her house and went to who knows where into hiding? I didn't understand. How would that piss you off? Did it... I assume maybe it pissed her off that she wasn't the one to go out there and fight Ghostface and kill him in New York? But that doesn't make any fucking sense. But it makes even less sense for her to be mad that her neighbor, who she idolizes, disappeared for a few weeks. You know, people go on vacation all the time and don't tell their neighbors. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know if she felt like, oh, we were friends and she didn't tell me she left for vacation. That's bullshit. I don't get it. Yeah, and then the whole, like, you know, Tatum and her boyfriend get into the car because they're going to go find Sydney outside of the news station after watching the broadcast in the bar. They get into the car, and the boyfriend's laptop's open, and he was doing deep fake shit, turning himself into Stu with a green screen. But that was like a red herring, sort of. But it's not really a red herring because instantly she hits him in the face, knocks him out, and then gets attacked by Ghostface herself. So obviously her boyfriend, I mean, he still could be involved, but he dies like 2 minutes later in the next scene during the chase scene. So it's like immediately after she catches him doing the AI shit, he dies. So obviously he wasn't involved. So that red herring didn't last long enough to really be a red herring. And then going back to Jessica, she was barely in the goddamn movie as well. And the first time I watched the movie, her line about her ex-husband being abusive is so throwaway that I didn't even notice it the first time I watched this damn movie. I don't know how anyone expected us to catch that shit anyway. And again, how that plays into the motive, I still have no clue. You know, I mean, it caused her to idolize Sydney because I guess she sees Sydney as, like, her book as helping her get away with murdering her husband. Again, even though I'm pretty sure Sydney's book has nothing to do with how to get away with murder, but I don't know. Just I'm so fucking confused. And she kills her own son, presumably. You know, I guess it could have been the guy that picks up the son and puts him on that beer tap, which was probably the coolest kill in the whole movie. I will admit it was pretty cool. And again, overall, I was never bored by this movie, but I do have more complaints than I do moments to talk about where I had fun. But not being bored at all during a movie does seem to be like a positive these days, you know. Unfortunately. Oh man, what else? I didn't really care for any of the side friend characters. I think I cared more about them than I did the brother and sister that were involved in the Scream 6 reveal as Ghostface. Because when that reveal happened in Scream 6, I didn't know who the fuck those people were. I think I recognized him, but not his sister. I was like, wait, I don't know. But even then, I think they did it better in that one than this. Even though, like, anyway, I don't want to go into talking about Scream 6 too much, but I do think this is the worst reveal and worst motive in the entire franchise still. Joel McHale should be fucking dead. I don't know how the fuck, after Chad in Scream 6, that was ridiculous. How the fuck did he survive that? And now we've got another situation that's equally as baffling. And then people that don't even get that bad of a treatment do die. Just, it doesn't make any sense. I will say, though, I was watching Sam Roberts. He's a radio host, Not Sam on YouTube. I was watching his review for this, and his theory of what they need to do, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. I think it's one of the only ways they could make the reveal or the motive surprising again, is if in the next one, the reveal is Sam Carpenter, Melissa Barrera. And we don't see her throughout the whole movie. But she is one of, possibly multiple Ghostface killers at the very end. Keep her out of the marketing, if you can do that. They spoiled everybody in the marketing of this one. Which, by the way, at the very end, when the way they brought back Stu with AI was bullshit. I said that from months ago when they announced him. I'm like, if they bring him back, Matthew Lillard, Stu back, and they use AI to do it, fuck that shit, man. Nobody wants to see that. And I liked the Matthew Lillard stuff until we found out it was AI, and then it just ruins everything for me, and I just thought it was extremely stupid. I feel like if they had Stu be alive at the very end, it would have really added a little something special to the reveal. It would have been a lot more meaningful than having the fucking orderly and the neighbor, But anyway, back to Sam Roberts. So he was saying that if Melissa Barrera, if we don't know she's even in the movie, and then it's revealed that, because the whole thing about Scream 5 and 6 was kind of like hinting that she has that serial killer in her because of her father, Billy Loomis, which in reality, I think that's kind of a bullshit sort of concept, but within the movies, I think it could work, have her be revealed to have gone somewhat crazy and be killing people as Ghostface. But again, I don't know. I think that's really the only thing they could do to have a decent reveal. And in my opinion, these movies depend on the reveal. They depend on the motive to be solid. If they drop the ball with that shit, like they did in Scream 7, in my opinion, it kind of negates anything else that happens in the movie. I mean, not completely. Like, I still enjoyed the ride, like I said. I didn't get bored. Some of the scenes were pretty decent, but it puts a bad taste in your mouth, or at least it does for me. So I know that's kind of like what I just said could be debated, Does the reveal ruin the entire rest of the movie that happened leading up to it? You could argue that, you could argue differently, but that's how I feel. I don't know what else to say. That's about it. Let me know, though, what you think about Scream 7. Spoilers. Let me know everything about how you feel in the comments. And I'll see you guys later. See ya.